بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. As we are still living during these tough, difficult times, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy upon us all. I wanted to share with you some motivation and inspiration from the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is in Surah Taha, in where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions to us the most incredible moment in the life of Musa alayhi salam. And that is without doubt when Musa alayhi salam had the chance to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. So after Allah Azza wa Jal introduced himself to Musa alayhi salam, Allah Azza wa Jal asked Musa a question. He said to him, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا Musa. He said to him, what is that in your right hand, Ya Musa? Of course, this is a question asked from Allah Azza wa Jal to Musa so that he can comfort him, because he can just imagine how tense Musa alayhi salam is. Obviously, Allah Azza wa Jal already knows what is in the right hand of Musa alayhi salam. So Musa alayhi salam responds and he says, قَالَ هِيَ عَصَاي. It is my staff. Now obviously bigger than this. Then you and I would assume that Allah asked a question, Musa alayhi salam answered, finished. Surprisingly, Musa alayhi salam continues to answer this question. And he begins to list the many favors and the blessings of this staff. So he says, أَتَوَكَّأُ عَلَيْهَا. I lean on it. So that means when Musa alayhi salam walks, he leans on this staff as he walks. It supports him in his walk. And if he was sitting down, he leans on it to get up. أَتَوَكَّأُ عَلَيْهَا وَأَهُشُّ بِهَا عَلَى غَنَمِي. Musa alayhi salam is a prophet of Allah, and at the same time he's a shepherd. So he needs to feed his sheep. So he takes this staff and he strikes it on the tree, and the leaves begin to fall on the ground and his sheep eat from the leaves. This is what أَهُشُّ بِهَا عَلَى غَنَمِي means. And then he says, وَلِيَ فِيهَا مَآرِبُ أُخْرَى. And I have many other benefits for this staff. Now my brothers and sisters in Islam, the idea is that we're learning the methodology of the prophets is that they are able to recognize and identify Allah's blessings upon them even in the most simple of things, a staff. He mentioned 2 blessings and he said, and I have many other uses for it. Allahu Akbar. You and I, if we were told, list the benefits and blessings of a staff, of a stick, most of us would struggle. Yet Musa alayhi salam is able to recognize Allah's blessings in the most simple of things. My brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah's blessings upon us is not measured and calculated by how many things we have. Allah gives this worldly life to whoever He wants. He gives it to the righteous, to the evil, to the most corrupt, like He gave it to Qarun and Fir'aun and so on. Allah Azza wa Jal's blessings and favors upon us is measured and calculated by our ability to recognize and identify them even in the most simple things we have in life. Allahu Akbar. How many people living on earth have so much, yet they are miserable? Why? Because they failed to recognize Allah's blessings upon them. And how many people, in the eyes of others, they have absolutely nothing, yet they are so happy and content? That's because from their perspective, they are able to recognize and identify Allah's blessings upon them in the most simple of things. Allahu Akbar. Especially nowadays, my brothers and sisters in Islam, when so many of us have been locked down in our homes and our lifestyle has changed. It's so different to what it was 3-4 weeks ago. No more of this restaurant eating, fine dining, and whatever it is we used to enjoy outside. We've gone back to the basics, and judging on what people stockpiled on rice and pasta, I'm assuming that's what people are eating. And even what they're eating has gone backwards. Subhanallah. The idea is the most happiest of people today are those that are able to recognize Allah's blessings in the most simple of things, whether it was in their food or in their family or in their children or in their health or wealth or whatever it is. No matter what it is, the most simple of things have so many blessings in them. Subhanallah. We need to be careful not to fall into the plan and the plot of a shaitan. A shaitan, the biggest agenda he has against mankind, as he said, وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. He promised, he said to Allah that I will deceive them and trick them and misguide them until you will hardly find any of them grateful. So the more we are ungrateful to Allah, the closer we are to Iblis himself. Subhanallah, we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect us. We need to be grateful to anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us of blessings. Otherwise, if we are unable to recognize Allah's blessings, even in the most simple of things in our life, that's when jealousy starts coming out of the hearts. That's when people become jealous. That's when you won't be able to accept Allah's qadr, because when you're jealous and when you don't accept Allah's qadr upon you, that means that's a sign of ingratitude to the blessings Allah Azza wa Jal has given you and I. And when we are able to recognize Allah's blessings in the most simple of things, Allahu Akbar, Allah Azza wa Jal places so much barakah and so much benefit in these things for us. Like look at the case of Musa alayhi salam. When he was able to identify and recognize Allah's blessings upon him in the most simple of things, the staff, this became, how many times did it save his life by the permission of Allah? Look at the blessings. This staff was the reason, by Allah's permission, that they were saved from the clutches of Fir'aun when he struck the sea with the staff and it opened up and they were saved from Fir'aun. And when they got to the desert on the other side and there's no water, Allah Azza wa Jal commands Musa alayhi salam to take by the staff and to strike the rock, and 12 springs of water would gush out from this rock and they would all drink from it. Musa alayhi salam and Bani Israel, these were the blessings of the staff, because he was able to thank Allah for it and to recognize the blessings in it. For my brothers and sisters in Islam, let's appreciate Allah Azza wa Jal's blessings upon us. Wallah, as a practical exercise, sit down with your family and speak about the little things you have in life, and list, exercise, do an exercise for yourself and your children. List the many benefits you can benefit from these simple blessings in your house. Bi-idhnillah, during this time, you will live content, you will live happy, you will live pleased with what Allah Azza wa Jal has given you. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us this ability to recognize His blessings upon us, even if they were the most simple of things. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us and to admit us into the paradise by His mercy. إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.